April 1945, a German POW camp outside Frankfurt. The war was almost over. General Patton was inspecting a processing center when he saw something that made him stop walking. A German soldier in the processing line, SS uniform. Around his neck hung metal, catching the light. Not one dog tag, not two, dozens. Patton walked closer. The German was wearing a necklace made entirely of American dog tags strung together on a chain. Patton counted them. 60 point. 60 American dog tags, 60 names, 60 soldiers, 60 families back home who would never see their sons again. This German had collected them like trophies, like hunting kills, worn them proudly around his neck. Patton looked at the German's face. No shame, no regret, just cold indifference. The processing center had gone silent. Every soldier had stopped working. Patton's voice was quiet. Too quiet. Get me a translator, and get me Lieutenant Harper, right now. Captain James Mitchell moved fast. Within minutes, Lieutenant Harper and Private Weber, a German-American translator, arrived. Harper's face went white when he saw the necklace. Jesus Christ, he whispered. Patton turned to Weber. Ask him his name. Weber spoke in German. The prisoner answered. His name is Klaus Weber, sir. SS Obersturmführer, Waffen-SS. Patton didn't take his eyes off Weber. Ask him where he got the dog tags. Weber, the translator, asked in German. Klaus Weber answered calmly. Matter of fact, Weber's face showed disgust as he listened. Sir, he said, he says he collected them from battlefields over the past year. France, Belgium, Germany. Patton's jaw tightened. Ask him why. Klaus Weber smiled. Actually smiled. Weber, the translator's voice shook as he translated. He says each tag represents an American soldier he personally killed. He says, 60 kills. He says he wore them to show his accomplishment. Patton took a step toward Klaus Weber. They were now 3 feet apart. Tell him exactly what I say, word for word. Yes, sir. Patton's voice was quiet but carried across the entire center. You are a prisoner of war. You have no rights, no property. Everything you're wearing, including that necklace, belongs to the United States Army. Weber, the translator, translated. Klaus Weber's smile faded. Those dog tags don't belong to you. They belong to the families of the men you murdered, and they're going home. Every single one. Patton paused. You can remove the necklace yourself, or I will have my men rip it off your neck. You have 5 seconds to decide. Klaus Weber stood there, defiant, not moving, not moving. Patton counted 5.432. On one, he nodded to Mitchell. Mitchell and 2 MPs moved forward. They grabbed Klaus Weber. He struggled, shouted in German. Cursed. 1 MP grabbed the necklace and yanked it hard. The chain broke. 60 dog tags. Scattered across the ground, metal hitting concrete, names everywhere. PVT Michael Johnson, Sergeant Thomas Anderson, PVT Robert Williams, Corporal David Murphy. The Americans scrambled to pick them up, carefully, like they were picking up pieces of the dead. Klaus Weber screamed in German, fighting against the MPs. Patton watched the dog tags being collected, each one picked up gently, respectfully. Then he turned back to Klaus Weber. Private Weber, translate this. Patton spoke. His voice carried across the entire processing center. You wore those tags like a trophy hunter wears the heads of animals. You treated American soldiers like game, like things to be hunted and displayed. Weber, the translator, translated. But here's what you didn't understand. Each of those tags represents a human being, a man with a name, a family, a life, not a trophy, not a number
per person.
Patton paused, and you will answer for every single one of them. Klaus Weber's defiance cracked. For the first time, uncertainty crossed his face. Patton turned to Lieutenant Harper. I want Weber segregated from the other prisoners. Solitary confinement. I want Weber see a complete investigation. Find out if his story is true. Did he kill these men, or did he just collect tags from corpses? I want witnesses. I want evidence. Yes, sir. Patton looked at the pile of dog tags on the table. 60 small pieces of metal, 60 lives. These aren't evidence. These are remains. These are how families will know what happened to their sons. Patton turned to the assembled soldiers. Gentlemen, what you just saw is why we're here. That man treated American soldiers like hunting trophies. He wore their identities around his neck like Jewelry. He pointed to the dog tags. Those are your brothers, your fellow soldiers. Each one left home to fight, to serve, to do their duty, and they died doing it. His voice hardened. This is desecration, treating the dead like animals, and it will not stand. We'll find out exactly what happened to each soldier whose name is on those tags. We will get answers for their families. We will give them closure. The soldiers nodded. Several had tears in their eyes. Carry on, Patton said. The processing center slowly resumed work, but it was different now. Quieter, more somber. Klaus Weber was taken away to solitary. The 60 dog tags were carefully catalogued. Lieutenant Harper recorded each name, each service number. Army investigators interviewed Klaus Weber over weeks. His story was consistent. He claimed to have killed all 60 soldiers. But investigators dug deeper. They cross-referenced dates, locations, unit, movements. What they found was worse. Only 15 tags came from soldiers killed in direct combat. 8 were from soldiers killed during surrender. 12 were from wounded, soldiers shot in field hospitals. 11 were from prisoners executed after capture. Klaus Weber wasn't collecting souvenirs. He was collecting evidence of atrocities. The investigation report went to war crimes prosecutors. Klaus Weber was charged with 54 counts of war crimes. His trial took place in 1946. The dog tags were displayed in the courtroom, each one representing a victim. The families were notified. Letters sent explaining what had been found. Some families got closure. They'd spent months not knowing what happened to their sons. Now they knew. Klaus Weber was found guilty. He was sentenced to death. The execution took place in 1947, 2 years after Patton found the necklace. One tag belonged to Private First Class David Murphy, from Boston, 22 years old. His mother received the tag in 1946, along with a letter explaining how it had been found. She later gave an interview. For months, we didn't know what happened to David. The Army said he was missing, but no confirmation, just missing. She held the dog tag in her hand. When we got this back, we finally knew he was gone. But at least we knew. We could grieve properly. We could say goodbye. She paused. The letter said General Patton personally made sure the tags came home, that he stood up for our boys. Even after they died, that means something. Patton never spoke publicly about the incident. It wasn't in his memoirs, wasn't in his official reports. But the soldiers who were there remembered. They told the story to other units. The story spread. About the day Patton found a German wearing 60 American dog tags. About what he said. About what he did. About the day Patton made sure 60 families got answers, got closure, got their sons back, even if it was just a piece of metal. Years later, one of the MPs who'd grabbed Klaus Weber told the story to a historian. I've seen General Patton angry before, but that day was different. He was cold, controlled, but you could feel the fury underneath. The MP's eyes were distant. What stuck with me was what he said about the dog tags, that they weren't evidence. They were remains. That's how he saw them, as pieces of the men who died, and he treated them that way, with respect, with dignity. He looked back. That's when I understood what kind of general he was. He didn't just fight for the living. He fought for the dead too. What would you do if you found something like that? How would you honor the fallen? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories about World War II and the moments when evil met justice, make sure to subscribe.